Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this.
Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean,
You were supposed to bring death to the flagships, not join them.
I'm just so used to barfing right now.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
Behind-the-scenes camera crap.
I am ashamed to live in this world.
I am the devil.
I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing. Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host, Wes, and I'm here with Landon.
Hello.
And Caleb.
Hi.
And we are here to talk all things tech these past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We did miss last week, probably because the holiday and some other things. And there wasn't a lot of news, let's be real.
There wasn't. That's true.
We'll blame it on the holiday. Anywho, let's go ahead and let's get started. Let's get into this. Let's dive deep. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start with Caleb today. Caleb's got a few things he wants to talk about. Caleb, take it away.
All right. Big developments in the Apple world this week. First of all, this past Tuesday, we got invitations for the next Apple streaming event, which is this coming Tuesday.
Yay.
They only send those out a week in advance these days, which is kind of nice, but we were expecting this, right? It's the second week of September, and that's pretty much always over the past,
long time.
5-6 years, whatever. That's when Apple does their iPhone event, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
it's happening again this Tuesday, September 14th at 10 a.m. The event is called California Streaming.
Yeah.
Or streaming, I'm sure, is what they really intended with that.
Okay.
So there you go. You can watch it via all the usual haunts. You can watch it on your Apple devices or your Apple TV, whatever, via their events channel or on the Apple TV app. You can also watch it on YouTube, on their YouTube channel, or on their website. So, if you want to watch it, go for it. If you don't want to watch it, you can just tune into this podcast next week and I'll tell you what they talked about. What we are expecting them to talk about are obviously the new iPhones, which we are expecting them to call the iPhone 13, because it seems like Apple has finally ditched the whole stupid off-cycle S nomenclature, which was just confusing everybody. So that's kind of nice. That obviously they could very well step up to the plate on Tuesday and say, hey, it's the iPhone 12s, and we could all collectively groan and then move on with our lives. But we're expecting it to be called the iPhone 13 currently. We're also expecting new Apple Watches. The Series 7 is what we're up to on that one. This one might actually include a pretty significant design change for the watches themselves, which would kind of be the first time that Apple has redesigned this thing since they announced it, like the first one. So,
Yeah.
Okay, that might be interesting to see. Just recently, Mark Gurman is saying that we're also expecting a launch of the third generation AirPods. The first generation AirPods obviously launched alongside the iPhone 7 at one of these events, so that isn't unheard of either. Stuff like updates to the AirPods Pro, they tend to want to put a little bit more emphasis on those, so they tend to not announce those in line with the iPhones themselves, but the regular AirPods, yeah, that definitely seems plausible. One of the interesting rumors, there are obviously a lot of rumors about what we're going to expect. The camera positions on the back of the phones are supposed to be switching a little bit. We're expecting significant change to the cameras on the Pro models, so on and so forth. But one of the most interesting pieces for normal consumers of rumor news is that the iPhones are now going to start at 128 gigs of storage space. No 64 gig option, which would be nice, quite frankly, considering I've been paying up for the second model, the second configuration, which is the 128 gig version, since the iPhone 7.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. I'd appreciate that.
Yes, especially since pretty much everyone else has been at 128 gig space model for a couple years now.
Yeah.
At least they didn't wait as long to jump from the 32 to 64. They waited so long for that one.
That was pretty bad. I will say that it would feel fine if they were to offer a 64 gig config of the phone if it didn't cost $700, you know? If it was a $500 phone and it was 64 gigs, I'd be more okay with that, you know?
Yeah.
But it's $700 at 64 gigs. They want you to pay $750 to get the 128, and I'm like, eh. So hopefully they don't raise the prices. Base model phone costs $750. It's like, what? Apple. We'll see. But we are expecting to see the same basic lineup of phones as last year. So we'll have a mini, and then a 13, and then a 13 Pro, and a 13 Pro Max, because we have a 90s supplement, energy supplement or something like that in here. So yes, that's the California streaming event. It's coming this Tuesday. We will talk about it on the podcast next week and let you know which of those rumors are true and whether or not they did in fact decide to name it stupidly, or if they decided to just increment the number like a sane person would do. We'll see. Now, my other piece of Apple news today is a big development in the Epic versus Apple lawsuit, which, if you've been paying attention to the podcast over the past couple of months, you know that I don't like to talk about. I talked about it when it first happened. I've mentioned it a few times to make fun of it since then, and to just remark on how stupid it is that giant billion-dollar companies suing each other, and either of them is claiming to care about the little guy in this situation. No. Tim Sweeney, actually Tim Cook, also both Tims, just shut up. We know that all you care about is the profitability of your company and nothing else. Like, we're all aware of it anyways.
I mean, in the middle of the whole thing, they announced that ripoff from Among Us. So
yes,
So,
the actual indie developed game that took the world by storm because it was a really cool idea, and that Epic shamelessly ripped off, just like they did with another indie developed game that had kind of an interesting
Weird.
format that they called a battle royale. Anyways, so yes, if anybody ever doubted that Epic Games only cares about themselves, Fortnite is literally the perfect example to hold up for every piece of evidence you could possibly want of that. Anywho, the Epic v. Apple lawsuit. The judge has issued a ruling in that lawsuit. What they have found is essentially that they ruled in favor of Apple almost everywhere in this lawsuit. They basically said that Epic didn't have a leg to stand on. Apple was well within their rights to do pretty much everything that they were doing, and that the App Store itself was not inherently anti-competitive or a monopoly, and that they could not enforce any antitrust laws against it. So that was the bulk of what was essentially like an 185-page ruling, I think. It was really long. That being said, the judge did find in favor of Epic in regards to Apple's restrictions against apps not being apps being able to tell their user base of other opportunities to pay for stuff other than in-app purchases, right? So if, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about a different, totally unrelated lawsuit against Apple in which Apple settled with a class action of developers that worked in and around the quote-unquote reader app space. So apps like, obviously, book reading apps like Amazon's Kindle app, but also Netflix and those video content apps of that sort Apple was like, we will amend our developer requirements to allow those apps to tell users about other ways they can pay for services and subscriptions. Basically, what this judge said is that that's not just reader apps, that has to be everyone. So basically, Apple is not going to be able to restrict developers from saying, hey, if you want to pay $1 less for this in-app purchase or whatever, go to our website, pay for it there. That's basically what the ruling was. Epic is whining about this because, and Tim Sweeney in particular on Twitter is whining because they want to be able to put their own app store onto iPhones to get the royalties that Apple has been collecting this entire time. Because they are like, wow, that's making Apple a lot of money. I'll bet it would make us a lot of money too. We should do that. And so they tried to sue their way into getting the courts to force Apple to let them do that. And the courts were like, No. Turns out you're just, rich capitalists and you don't actually care about anybody else. And okay, that tracks. This is all on board. Basically, everybody else who is developing stuff for the iPhone is like, hey, this is a huge win. This is like the majority of what we wanted out of this. And there's, most of them are like, this is a great ruling. We're really excited about what this could mean. And also we should go a step further and get like state and national legislatures to pass laws that make it so that Apple can't try and like run back on this whole thing. And we have to take them to court again. So that's it. That's the Epic v. Apple lawsuit. I'm sure that Epic's going to appeal some crap. Their entire argument about the App Store, like stuff like the platform only App Store thing, never seemed like it was going to hold weight. And I don't think anybody's surprised about this ruling being the way that it is. But I feel like overall, it's a pretty good outcome that basically anybody can say, hey, you know what? I've got my own payment system set up via the internet. And if you click on this link, then I will just redirect you to that and you can pay for it there using PayPal or whatever. And it will cost you 25 cents less or $1 less or whatever. And then we'll just redirect you back to the app. Everything will be fine. It's not going to be as smooth as in-app purchases, obviously, but it's another option that costs less money. And I feel like a lot of people would go for that. So that seems like a pretty good solution to me. I like it. Yep. So there you go. That's the Apple news. And hopefully that's the last thing that I ever have to say about the Epic v. Apple lawsuit, because like I said, it is really stupid to me when two giant corporations sit there and argue with each other about who is doing more for the little guy. I'm like, neither of you. Like, come on. Don't play. We know. We see you. Anyways, that's it. That's it for my tech news.
That's pretty good news. Good updates on there. All right, we're going to move over to Landon. Landon, what do you got for us?
I have Pixel rumors.
Yay!
So, the Pixel 6, as we've talked before, has been somewhat halfway, a quarter of the way announced by Google. There have been some ads already for these phones, which is interesting because, again, they haven't been fully announced. But people are noticing on these ads that there is a specific date on all of the devices, all the screenshots on these ads, that all it says is Tuesday and 19. And the only Tuesday the 19th that is available for the rest of this year is October 19th. So that is leading people to believe that is going to be either the announcement date or the pre-order / release date. So keep an eye on that. Obviously, nothing has been officially announced on that front yet from Google, nor do I expect anything to be officially announced from Google on that for a while, especially if that is the date. It's going to be in sometime in October when they talk about when they're going to announce it. So, but
gotcha.
That's now what we're expecting is October 19th for a potential release of the Pixel 6 phones.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, that's on par with where it has been in the past. So, not really surprised there. That's all of my Google news. Now some general tech news that I want to mention. And this actually this could impact multiple companies. Mostly going to be Samsung, but potentially, and potentially Motorola, but LG. So, listener, if you've been listening to us for a while, you do know that LG has gotten out of the smartphone business. But LG is a very large company. They make lots and lots of different products and have lots and lots of different things that they do under the LG name. And one of these is called LG Chem. And what this I don't know exactly what they do, but their most recent thing that they've announced is they're calling it Real Folding Window. And basically what this is bendable glass.
Oh.
Yeah. And so what the announcement of this says is it is rated to fold more than 200,000 times.
That's pretty good.
Now, to put that into like normal terms that you could maybe understand a little better, if you were to put this on a foldable phone, if you were to fold the phone 100 times a day, you wouldn't reach that limit in 5 years.
Wow.
So
All right.
that's pretty good if it actually
Yeah.
holds up to what they're saying. They're also saying it's very comparable to like tempered glass in the way it feels and acts and things like that.
Ooh.
Which, if
Oh.
that's the case, that's amazing. I mean,
That's
obviously,
a huge win.
yeah. I mean, it's not obviously as hard as like what Corning is coming out with that we're putting on
Oh, no.
normal phones like an iPhone or a Pixel or a standard Samsung phone. But to be able to put this on a flip phone or a fold phone or the Razr, that would make those phones last longer and also, in theory, get rid of that crease that is always going to be there on these devices.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, this is not the display. This is the glass that goes over the display. But that's really the part that matters because we've had bendable and foldable displays for upwards of 6 or 7 years now that have been like not mass produced, obviously, but that these companies have been working on for that they've talked about openly for 6 or 7 years. So they've been working on them for probably 15 to 20 years, is my guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, if this stuff works as well as LG is claiming, that is awesome. And they're also saying they will be able to mass produce this starting sometime next year, which means it could be on devices as early as 2023.
That's fantastic.
It really is. Now, I say this could be big news for Samsung or Motorola because they're the main companies making these devices, but Samsung also prefers to do all their own stuff in-house because they also have been working on this type of stuff. I don't know if they make their own glass. I'm not 100% sure on that. I know they make their own displays.
They make their own semi-ballistic missiles, so like I don't know why they wouldn't make their own glass, you know.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, they also are probably working on something like this and LG just beat them to it. But I mean, Motorola could definitely take advantage of this because I don't believe they're making any of that type of stuff themselves. They just put it all together. So they're ones that would benefit from this. But yeah, if this really is comparable to tempered glass and can fold more than 200,000 times, man, that just makes these phones that much better and that much more reliable.
But the only question is, what kind of a radius can they get on it? Like, because if they can achieve a similar radius to what the OLED displays can, then I see no reason why this wouldn't be on the next version of every folding phone that we see. Unless they can't make enough of it or something like that. It's really surprising to me that Corning didn't beat them to the punch with this. Like, that's Corning's whole thing, you know? And they're quite good at it. Like, and they have their Willow glass. Like, that's a lineup that's
I don't know. I mean, I don't think Samsung or Motorola is using Corning glass on their foldable displays. I don't know for sure, but I don't believe they are. I know that Corning is working on this.
Yeah.
But I mean, LG also has the money behind them to speed this process up more than Corning does.
Though, I mean, Corning has every major smartphone manufacturer as a direct customer, so Corning does make a lot of money, and they have a lot to put into their R&D. They have their Willow line of glass, which is a product line that they've had that is flexible glass, that has been used, I think, primarily in like building applications. But when Samsung first announced the original Fold, Corning was like, oh yeah, there's no glass on this because obviously like that's hard, but we're working on making Willow glass that will fold, that'll crease that much with a tight radius and still stay in one piece. And I'm sure they're still working on it, but I suspect, like, I believe, and I'm not sure how much confirmation we actually have of this, or if it's just hearsay, but they haven't been able to get a crease tight enough to fit into any of the folding phone chassis that we currently have. without it, failing or becoming too brittle or weak with the short number of folds or something like that. So the fact that LG beat them to the punch, I guess, might be indicative of the fact that LG might not be doing any other glass research right now. It might be entirely like, look, we're not going to beat Corning at their game in terms of hardness for the display glass on smartphones. Corning Gorilla Glass has got that locked, And so they're all like, well, let's just focus on the flexible stuff. And here we go. I don't know.
I could see that being the case.
Yeah. It's interesting to me that they beat Corning to the punch. Not impossible. LG is a big company. They have a lot of talented engineers. They obviously have their fingers in a lot of pies. So, the fact that they pulled this off, cool. I kind of wish they had done it before their smartphone division went under, but, whatever.
Yeah, especially since they were working on a rollable phone.
Right? I'm never going to get my tube of chapstick phone now.
Sorry. But yeah, I mean, I could see LG coming. The reason LG comes out with this first is, like you said, they're probably not working on other glass, whereas Corning's bread and butter is phone glass that goes on just your standard smartphone, and they're putting most of their development time into something like that. And LG has been been working on the foldable displays for so long that they think, okay, we got to have something to go on top of this. So
that's true.
Probably just like, okay, let's forget the regular glass. We'll just focus on this. And with the backing of everything else that LG does, it kind of makes some sense.
That tracks. I mean, LG has, they've been toying with the rollable, foldable displays technology longer than anybody else. So that does make sense.
Yeah. So I'm excited for this. I could honestly see this being the type of glass that Apple would probably use on their first folding device.
The Apple does love to partner with LG.
Yeah, I mean they've started making displays for Apple the last couple years too.
Yeah.
So,
well, LG's been making the displays that go into MacBooks and their computers and stuff for ages. As far as I'm aware, most of their laptop and all-in-one monitors have been LG panels.
Yeah.
The only non-LG panels that they buy tend to I think even most of their smartphone displays were LG panels until they switched to OLED, and then they started buying them from Samsung.
I thought it was the OLED that they switched to LG from. Part of them. I thought it was both. Part were Samsung, part were LG. They had kind of a mix.
I think they do have a split on the OLED, but I think it is majority Samsung.
Yeah, I mean that would make
devices
sense.
Or panels, but anyways, Apple is a longtime LG customer for their display technology, so having display glass that will work with the foldable displays, I'm sure Apple would be like, hey, yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah, because that Apple's not going to use whatever Samsung and Razer and Motorola have been using, because they don't want that crease to be there that when you're using the device you feel all the time. They want something that when you open it up, it's going to be smooth and it's going to last and it's going to feel nice. So,
yep. Apple is 100% they're about aesthetics to a fault. And so if you don't that matters to them more than it should. But
if you don't believe him, look at their mouse.
Hey, don't use it. Just look at it.
Exactly. I mean, that is the epitome of aesthetics to a fault, because that thing is awful, but it looks nice. I'll give him that.
It is a repetitive strain injury made easy. That's what that is.
Yes.
Yay.
All right, my last little bit of general tech news. I don't really want to cover too much, but I'll mention it. Amazon has announced some self-branded TVs. Now, these are not Fire TV sticks. These are actual TVs with displays and large and all sorts of fun. Obviously, they have the Fire TV interface built into them.
Right.
And they have multiple tiers of how the quality of the television, and they have multiple size ranges, obviously, as well. I didn't look too much into this to know the branding and all that stuff behind the different tiers, and I know they have anywhere from a 46-inch to a 75-inch, and obviously the prices are going to vary. I think the lowest price I saw was $350 for their low tier 46-inch TV, which isn't bad. But from what I understand, those ones also are not going to have 4K and not be HD, and potentially not be HDR. I'm not 100% on that. But I wouldn't spend that much on a non-4K, non-HDR TV, even a 46-inch TV, because you can get like a TCL or a Hisense or something like that is 4K, that is HDR, and also has Dolby Digital Audio and all that stuff for about the same price. So don't do that, I guess.
Yeah.
It's interesting because generally Amazon likes to price their things on the lower end and not necessarily they don't care about making money off their hardware because they know they're going to be making money elsewhere. But I don't know. But that's all of my tech news for this week.
Nice. That's other than that TV thing. I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah.
Bad pricing.
Yeah.
But well, there's not very much going on in the Microsoft world. I mean, they've talked about, bugs in the Windows 11, which, that's obvious because, it's not out yet, but hey. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into some gaming news. And I think we're actually going to have Landon start us off in our gaming news. Landon?
Yeah. Now, I only give one air horn because this is only like half. This isn't really news. I just wanted to mention that today, as of recording, we are recording on September 12th. It is National Video Games Day today. So,
is it really?
Apparently.
I feel like I should have known that.
Yeah, come on, guys. You're the gamers. You should know these things. Jeez.
It's
National Video. There's a day for everything, it seems like.
There really is.
I did play a video game today. I played some Cozy Grove on my phone.
Yeah. Go gaming.
I played Minecraft Dungeons with my kids, if that
yeah.
I played Angry Birds on my phone.
Hey.
There we all did it.
Classic.
See?
Perfect. Video games.
Yay, gaming.
Yay.
I just wanted to mention that. That's my half news / something you ought to know.
Good.
Nice.
Good. We're glad to have it, actually. Well, let's go ahead. I'll go ahead and I'll take over then. So I have some news, and it's actually not Xbox news.
What?
PlayStation. Yeah, PlayStation had their showcase event to showcase a couple games that may or may not be coming to their platform. Let's be real. They're all coming to their platform. Otherwise, they wouldn't have shown it.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and we'll mention a few. So this first one that was on there, a lot of people are very excited. And if you're into this, which I hear some people are into Star Wars.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
And there was a game a while ago that was an exclusive game for a while on the Xbox, is now going to have some kind of exclusivity on this remake of Knights of the Old Republic. It is a remake, not a remaster. It is a remake. And they are remaking this for obviously the PlayStation 5, which they talked about. I thought I wrote down
backport it to the PS4 because that'd be real nice.
No, they said this is all. It said PS5.
Dang it!
It said PS5, but then it did come. They did come out and say that it is going to come to PC as well, and then they said there might be an Xbox. Maybe.
Okay.
Who knows? I'm assuming it would.
This must be the reason they killed that fan remake of it that was happening a couple of years ago that I was actually really excited about.
Probably.
And then Disney came in and was all like, hey, no, stop. And I was like, oh, please, it's such a good game. I just want nice graphics and like more than 5 faces.
So Sony paid a lot of money to have it exclusive on PS5. It does say it's coming to PC. I am going to assume later Xbox. Who knows?
Yeah. It's just a question of how much later.
Yeah, pretty much. So those of you that are fans of that, hooray! You get to actually play it as a remake, retelling of the story.
Yeah.
So
hopefully they don't mess with the story, because the story was like flawless. Just redo the graphics and improve the gameplay, smooth it out a little bit.
That's kind of what they said they want to do. They're like, we want to tell the exact same story. We just want the better graphics. We want to bring it up.
Ever since the Final Fantasy VII remake, I have like trauma about remakes, because that's a completely different game.
Yeah,
just happens to have the same characters and starts in the same place. Oh man.
Well, let's go ahead and let's move on. So another big one that they talked about, that's a exclusive franchise, God of War Ragnarok. Those of you that really like this one, you're going to be very excited. I guess there's been some controversy on what I guess Thor looks like. So Thor has a belly, and people don't like it.
He had a belly in Endgame too, and he beat up on Thanos for a bit. So like, come on.
I know, but I guess there's some controversy.
He's still worthy, and especially like my favorite part is that
worthy.
You look at the picture that they shared of Thor, and the dude doesn't look fat. He looks like a world championship heavyweight lifter, like power lifter. The guys that hold world records for literally deadlifting cars and stuff like that.
It has a belly. Whoop-de-doo.
Yes, they all have bellies, because in order to be able to lift that sort of thing, you have to have a lot of calories in you. So they eat a lot of food and a lot of protein and stuff like that. But unlike bodybuilders, they don't go on these psychopathic, crazy 3-month periods where they don't eat anything and lose all of their water weight and get down to less than 1% body fat. And so, yeah, they've got a belly. That's what it looks like when you are incredibly strong.
I mean, speaking of that, I recently just watched the World's Strongest Man competition. It was on last week or week and a half ago. And yes, they all have bellies. And yes, they are all freaking strong. I mean,
it's insane.
One of the things they had to do was to push a 66,000-pound train car, like literally 66,000-pound train car. They had to like move it on a rail, basically. It was ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
So yes, they're going to have bellies, and they can still be massively muscular and strong.
And that's what this Thor looks like. He looks like the strongest people on the planet. That's what he looks like.
With a belly. Like it's just funny. I thought it was hilarious, but
that's what that body type is.
That's the controversy, apparently.
Like, quite frankly, Kratos, just like, I'm not getting off of this. Kratos, he's a bodybuilder. And in terms of actual muscle mass and strength, way less strong than this version of Thor. Guaranteed. Just guaranteed. In terms of raw strength. Don't know how the game's going to actually play that off. But just based on their pictures, Kratos is a bodybuilder. Thor is a power lifter. He's much stronger.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah,
anyways, we can move on now.
Are you sure you want some more of that? Or
I just got a little irate about people that were like, "Oh, look, Thor's fat," and I'm like, "He's not fat. Look at the dude's shoulders. They're as wide as he is tall. That's not normal."
No, I found it funny. There was a lot of guys get on there and like, "Look, something I can finally cosplay."
That's fair. I mean, that was the same thing when Endgame came out. It's all like, "Yes, I can finally cosplay Thor."
Yep. So, I mean, it's exciting news. This is a big franchise that a lot of people really like. So, awesome news for that. Moving on, they did have a new Gearbox game be announced. It's called Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. This is its own game. A lot of people thought this was going to be like a DLC to Borderlands 3. It is the same character and everything that's in there, but what they did is they kind of put a fantasy to it. There was we'll back up a little bit. In Borderlands 2, there was an adventure, a DLC in Borderlands 2 where you would go in and they would not really make fun of D&D, but like take assets and just pretend they were in a D&D campaign.
You were playing a D&D campaign as one of the characters in Borderlands 2. It was a riot, it's just such a hilarious idea and was very well executed. And so when Borderlands 3 came out, they're all like, yeah, sure, we'll just do an entire spin-off game that is that.
Yep. And this is coming to all platforms on there, but they let PlayStation announce it, like give it the full. Everyone knew it was coming, but this was like the first trailer.
Yeah,
So
like gameplay
everyone's pretty
trailer and
excited
stuff
about
like that. We just had like teasers before.
They also, let's see, they talked about a couple of their future projects. There was a project called Project Eve. That one they showed, it's a near post-apocalyptic future with sword-wielding female protagonists taking on huge monsters in like slow-mo action and stuff. So kind of a interesting project, I guess.
So Horizon Zero Dawn? That's kind of what that sounds like to me. Except I get swords instead of spears, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
And not mech
they
dinosaurs.
also non-mech dinosaurs. They also talked about an next project, which it was called Project Athea, which is now called Forspoken. So that one's coming out. It's an action RPG from Square Enix.
Oh, okay.
That's coming out. So they had about a 3-minute clip if you wanted to take a look at that. They did say that it would be released in spring 2022. So
coming right along.
Yep. Then they have the Rainbow Six Extraction. They put out a trailer for that. Release date on that will be January 2022.
It's going to be hard to live up to the popularity and the longevity that Rainbow Six Siege has had. Are they even trying to do that?
Yeah.
Is this a multiplayer shooter, or is it just, yeah, this is just a different Rainbow Six game, and Rainbow Six Siege, we're just going to keep supporting that forever?
It says here that looks like familiar abilities making a return from Siege, including Technica-like shield turret and
okay.
Like
okay,
that.
so yeah, it is. It's the multiplayer shooter then. Interesting. Okay.
They also talked about Alan Wake getting a remaster.
Really?
Kind of showed off
all right.
stuff for that. So those of you that are excited, it's coming to PS5 and Xbox on October 5th. They did talk about GTA 5 and GTA Online. So kind of gave a little more gameplay. They said that they were thinking it would arrive on November 5th, but they actually pushed it to March 2022.
Huh. What? Just Rockstar, just make a new game.
Right.
You
It's a
dorks.
cash cow. It's a cash
It really
cow.
is. Yeah.
They gave us a little bit of the supernatural adventure of Ghostwire Tokyo. There's just another trailer of
Is that
powers
still
and things,
happening?
so
Okay.
it gave a release date of spring 2022.
Okay, good. That's good. I mean, they announced that game like 3 years ago, so
Yeah, it was like 2019. So we're finally getting the fruits of that.
Good.
They did show another trailer for the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's that spinoff from that Marvel stuff. So if you're interested in that, there's those. Something I didn't know that was being made, but apparently people needed this. Sorry if you're into this. I'm sorry. I'm not making fun. It's just this threw me off. But it's called Blood Hunt. This is in the world of Vampire the Masquerade, but it is a free-to-play battle royale.
Yeah.
So
that one,
Blood Hunt is coming to PS5. So
I thought that was really interesting when they announced that, because I was like, wait, why don't you just finish Vampire the Masquerade? Like, what's it called? The new one,
Bloodlines or something.
Bloodlines, yeah, I think it's Bloodlines.
Yeah,
like
I thought it was.
Just
funny. I was
finish
like,
the dang
okay.
game. I mean, on the plus side, it is a different studio making Blood Hunt, so it's not like they're eating up development time.
True. Let's go ahead and we'll look at Deathloop. They kind of gave it a little more hands-on in a showcase on Deathloop, which is actually coming out as of recording right now in 2 days.
What?
September 14th.
Wow, that was
so
sweet. That was quick.
So,
cool.
Yeah. They also talked about the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves. They are going to give it a PlayStation 5 upgrade, as well release it for PC.
Oh.
That's going to be in early 2022.
Okay. Well, hey, I might actually play it. I mean, the last Tomb Raider game left me kind of disappointed, so,
kind of left a void, did it?
Yeah, let's see if Uncharted does a better job with it.
Well, they came out with another Marvel thing that's coming, is actually Marvel's Wolverine. They showcased a teaser trailer of Wolverine sitting in a bar, and a guy decided to come up behind him, and then out came his claws. They're making a game.
Never
with
sneak
Wolverine.
up on Wolverine. That's all I can tell you.
Yep, that's what it is. So, if you want to, you can see the movie. People are breaking down little Easter eggs that are in the trailer. If you wanted to see that too, so if you're a fan, they also talked about I guess this is one of the bigger ones for people that like Spider-Man, coming out with Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and this is the follow-up to Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. And also Marvel Spider-Man. So it actually has both of them together. So you see both Peter Parker and Miles Morales. They're fighting bad guys and things. So we don't know if it's going to co-op thing. They did some co-op-ish stuff, but they're like, is this co-op? And then at the very end, they showed the old school Venom in the shadows.
Hey, sweet.
So
Venom's always a win.
Yep, Venom's a good one. They did have a couple others that were on there. For example, if you are like Gran Turismo 7, we talked about that. We talked about a couple other smaller games that like I wish I could remember the name. Start with a T, but it was like a style that mixes Zelda Breath of the Wild and stuff like that. But a couple other little things if you want to take a look at that. But those are the kind of the major ones that they showcased and talked about on their event. Which is really cool. I'm glad that they're bringing some really good hitters on there for PlayStation and PC people. Like, we need the competition. Bring it.
Yeah.
So, we definitely do.
Well, sweet.
And that's everything that I have actually on the gaming side. So, let's go ahead and we'll head over to Caleb. I hear he's got maybe a game or two.
Yes. Just one game, though. Let's be honest. And listener, it's the most important segment that we ever have on this show. It's time to talk about Doom.
Yes.
Yes.
Love it. Love the sound.
Doom modders, listener. We have a very positive relationship with Doom modders on this show. And I would like to let you know about something that is not a mod for Doom. We've, previously seen Doom modded to play Snake in the menu. We've previously seen hardware modded to play Doom on pregnancy tests and Apple Watches and the touch bar on the MacBook Pro, or on a graphing calculator powered by potatoes that were going rotten and stuff like that. Lots of very interesting things done with the game of Doom itself. But now, it is time to do things to other games in the interest of Doom. Modder Hell Knight 61, via some clever work with sprites and sounds from the original game, assets from Doom, released in 1993, has made Doom playable in Age of Empires 2. Which is like the perfect convergence of things that I enjoy.
What? I have to see this. Is there a video? I have to see this right now.
There are some clips. It is amazing to see because like I said, he took sprites and he replaced units in game with those sprites, associated the sounds and everything with them. By modding Age of Empires 2, he was able to basically get all of the characters and assets from Doom into the game because Age of Empires 2 still used a sprite-based rendering engine. And then he built a playable campaign around Doom. So you are, it's basically you're playing Doom, except from the perspective of a third-person real-time strategy game. It's dumb, but also awesome, and I just love it so much. So,
I am watching it right now. This is, oh my gosh,
it's great. It really is.
Just moving them around.
It's that simple. Doom modders are just the best people on the internet, and never stop.
Please don't.
It's beautiful. It's just beautiful.
Yes.
That is pretty amazing.
I may have to download that.
Right? Yeah. I'm all like, ooh, Has he packaged that up into a mod that I can install in Age of Empires easily? Because I've got the original Age of Empires discs. Like, I am set. I don't even have to try and futz around with a Steam installation.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Oh, is that all your news? I'm assuming we saved best for last.
Oh yes, that is it.
Oh, that is awesome. Way to end the show. I love it. With Doom.
Always a treat.
Awesome. Well, I think that's everything. So, your listener, we appreciate you listening. And if you do want to get a hold of us or have any questions or anything that we have talked about, you can get a hold of us on our social media platforms. You can also get on a hold of us on our website at callingallplatforms.com. And if you want to see some pretty cool videos, really awesome videos. Let's be real, of us streaming and some tech reviews, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
You can see Calling All Platforms on YouTube. All right, dear listener, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.